She's out there every single day, effectively litigating the case against convicted felon Trump. Let's not forget that this is a fundamentally weak candidate. This is a guy who's facing 88 criminal charges, 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, and a guilty verdict. And as you mentioned, she's raised $100 million since entering the race as a presidential nominee. It's just phenomenal. And also, I'm a member of her National Finance Committee. I raised $1 million for her in 5 hours. I'm astounded. It's not so much about me. It's about the excitement around her campaign.
The woman that you just heard from was a major bundler for the Democratic Party. She helped raise millions of dollars for Joe Biden. When he dropped out of the race, she helped raise millions of dollars for Kamala Harris. And the woman is Lindy Li. I'm sure some of you who are super involved in political news, paying close attention to what's happening in the political realm, have seen some of the interviews she's done recently. But she's the former Democratic National Committee official, and she also helped, again, raise a lot of money for Democrats like Biden and Kamala Harris. But now she's jumped ship. She's no longer identifying as a Democrat. She's been furious with Kamala Harris and her campaign. She feels that they lied to her and lied about their internal polling. And she wanted accountability after more than $1.5 billion was spent by the Harris campaign, and she was nowhere near winning the presidential election. Now, she also served as the Mid-Atlantic Regional Chair for the DNC, and she also served on Biden's 2020 Asian American Outreach Team. So, lifelong Democrat until recently, named by Wired magazine as one of the top influencers of the 2024 election. Li was invited to the DNC last August as an official credentialed influencer and given access to events. On TV, she celebrated Biden's vitality, Kamala Harris's political strengths, and condemned Trump's racism and overall toxicity of the MAGA movement. And as she stated in that previous video, she was a key asset to Harris's record-breaking fundraising campaign. Okay, so election happens. Obviously, Donald Trump sweeps the swing states. He wins the popular vote. Li was furious because she felt that she was lied to by the Harris campaign as the election was ongoing. And so here's what Li said regarding a call with Harris, or a call that Harris had with donors post-election.
I was speaking and texting with fellow attendees of the call, and we were amazed by how self-congratulatory the tone was. I don't recall, the call was about 20, 30 minutes. I don't recall anyone taking responsibility for the fact that we spent about $2 billion across Super PAC and the campaign and came up so significantly short. We lost 7 swing states.
Self-congratulatory in what types of things were being said?
They praised Harris as a visionary leader. I believe at one moment during the call, she was talking about her Thanksgiving recipe. And I don't say this with any malice or anything. I'm just merely conveying what happened. I think I was stunned to hear that, given just the extent and brutality of the loss. There was no sort of postmortem or an analysis of how we can do better, what sort of lessons were learned. It was really just patting each other on the back, congratulating each other on I'm not sure what, and saying we'll see you for Christmas.
So after she was critical of the Harris campaign and the Democrats overall, she started getting a lot of backlash. And that backlash included accusations that she's really a Chinese spy, even though she's been a long time bundler for the Democrats. She's also an immigrant from China who came to the United States with her family when she was 4 years old. And here's what she said about the Chinese spy accusations. All I did was tell the truth. The Chinese Communist Party killed my great-grandfather, and that's why we left the country. Like, give me an effing break. For someone to say something that hideous, it just shows that the racism of the Democratic Party was there all along. And guess what Republicans did? They welcomed her. They were friendly to her. They love bombed her. And this is what happens every single time. You critique the Democratic Party for good reason, okay? Democrats like rain terror on you because you're not supposed to criticize the party. And then while the Democrats are attacking you, Republicans are like, yes, precious, come to us, come to us. Mm-hmm. And she did. And now she's Team Trump all the way and like plans to fundraise for him. And I think this is a teachable moment for people who are critics of the Democratic Party, because I've experienced this myself. I'm not going to be a fundraiser for Donald Trump. I'm going to continue criticizing the Democratic Party when they're wrong. And I've registered as an independent. But just because I'm unhappy with the Democrats doesn't mean I suddenly think, wow, Trump is perfect and Republicans are nice to me, so now I'm going to register as a Republican. No, I have serious disagreements with Republicans. And if Lindy Li was principled in her view, she still has serious issues with the Republican Party too. It's just that she's now been like taken in. And look, I get it. I understand wanting to be accepted, but holding true to your principles, I think, is way more important than being part of a clique or a club. You get what I'm saying, John?
Maybe, but it is really nice to be invited on to cable news shows. You know, to have it be all about you is very nice from time to time, I guess. I don't know. I don't get invited on these shows for obvious reasons. I don't know her. So let me be clear. Like, I can only speculate about her motivations or whatever. Like, I'm literally not familiar with her, which is what makes a lot of this story kind of weird to me. Like, Wired, she's one of the top influencers. I cover the news every day. I literally had never heard of her before. I feel like maybe she has a really good PR team, honestly. Like, so she criticized the Democrats, by the way, totally right to. Yeah, and the weird racist comments that she got are utterly unacceptable. And by the way, there are racists across every political party because humanity is inherently racist. It doesn't mean that one party is equally racist to the other. It's just there's racism everywhere. To fully change your identity, though, that seems strange. I mean, she was talking about Donald Trump being a sexual predator and stuff like that, and now she's like, Pete Hegseth is awesome. It's strange. Like, I did some research on her because, again, I wasn't familiar with her. She ran for office as a Democrat multiple times and it didn't work out, which is fine. It's really tough to run for office. And she described herself when she was running as like a hardcore progressive, but she's been feuding with Bernie Sanders supporters for like 5 years. She actually said in the 2020 primary that if Bernie ends up being the nominee, she will not support him against Donald Trump, way back in 2020. And lately, she described herself as, I've been a conservative my entire life.
What?
But she did run as a Democrat, although there are some conservative Democrats. So I don't know, man. I don't know. There's like, we went through the cinema thing and the Fetterman thing. Like, again, I don't know her. I don't know who she is, but it just seems like a really weird thing to be like, Harris was self-congratulatory, which I buy. I bet she was. The Democrats wasted a bunch of money, which they did, and they won't learn any lessons, which they probably won't. So now I'm with the guy I was describing as a fascist and a sexual predator. That seems strange. And I'm raising money for him for what? He literally can't run again, and he's being showered by money from every rich person in the country. This seems needless. It seems like a desire to be important. I don't know. But again, I don't know her, so I can't really speculate about that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just think I think there's the politics, the policy, and I don't think her reaction has anything to do with that. I think that she feels burned by the Democratic Party. And when people are attacking you viciously, and then the other side is being super warm and welcoming, and they're giving you kudos, you know, some people get taken in. They get sucked into the other side without really like thinking about whether their principles are in line with the party that they're now being taken in by. And who knows, maybe she's had a complete shift in her political identity. I doubt it, but she'll be fundraising for Republicans now.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.